Dr. Boozari.
The notion of women's right in Islamic law and in the text of the Quran is being well explained and shown by the emphasis that Allah puts on the dignity of the human being and considering it as the basis for entitlement to any sort of right. In Islamic law, in the text of the Quran, and there are many traditions from the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, that there is the dignity of the human being, the individual, which matters, not anything else. In the text of the Quran, we have many ayats, many verses, that when it comes to commanding good and prohibiting evil, or the Quran clearly talks about mu'mineen wal mu'minat. I mean, it doesn't make any, and says there are, some of them are above the others because of their knowledge, because of their status as being pious and closer to God. So there is no clear, whatever we hear about the distinctions in their concept of hijab or their share of bequest or things like that, they are all debatable. They are all based on the historical and social contingencies, and they're not immutable.
Thank you. Yeah, I give you enough time to learn from the others.
Well, I think one thing that all of our religious traditions share, like it or not, is a fundamental notion of a patriarchy. Men have more power. It's just the way it is, and however liberal our particular stream of our particular faith tradition may be, it evolves out of a central historic notion that men have more power, like it or not. So, with that being said, Rabbi Brown has certainly answered well for Judaism. I might just put out the notion here that we have to think very carefully about the difference between difference and equality. If I took 4 of these and lined them up, you would say, well, there are 4 of them. Yes, there are 4 of them. But I could also take a microphone and a glass and a pitcher and a notebook and put them here and say, how many things are here? And you would say, well, there's 4 of them. But are they equal? And how important is it for things to be equal as opposed to different? And how challenged are we by something that may be different if we wish to make it equal? There's no question that men and women are different. We have to focus our thoughts through our religious lens and certainly through our secular, our political lenses as well, on how those differences may or may not, or for us should or should not, translate into equality. And I think that's a challenge that all of us face in various different ways throughout our faith traditions.
Your wife is here.
Yeah. Don't worry about that. I got that covered. Yeah. No, but seriously, I think we're going to achieve progress when we stop talking about hijab as the litmus test for rights. What the real issues are involving rights for women, Muslim women in particular, are access, involvement, as you suggested, leadership, healthcare, education, preventing domestic violence. I mean, there are so many other issues, and unfortunately, the hijab has turned into a political football. There are those that want to drape women all over and say that this is what Islam is. And then there are those that want to grab it and say, you are oppressed, I'm going to take it away from you so I can liberate you. Both of them are actually exploiting religion, or exploiting our sense of what freedom and liberation is all about. The woman has the right to choose how she wants to dress. That's it, period. We should not, as men, tell them how they should dress. And they are equal regardless of how they express themselves. And unfortunately, people have died in wars over the hijab, such as in Algeria. There was conflict there over that issue. And in France, they have this rule that they want to ban the burqa, and I don't think they even know what they're talking about. Now they have this issue of the niqab as something that people are struggling for, as if this is even within Islam. There's nothing in Islam that says a woman has to even cover her face. But this has become the issue now, in terms of how Islamic women have to be as determined by men. So if we want to make any progress, stop using the hijab as a political football.